What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another brand new motorized bike video. In this video I'm going to be giving on a full breakdown how much I spent on my motorized bike. All right, we're gonna start off with the most important, so that's gonna be the frame all the way down to like the supplies and everything else. All right, so everyone knows, first thing first, you need a frame, right? So my GT frame cost me $137. Powder coat the frame is $110, and pretty much it, the frame and the powder coat. The seat pole, nobody really counts that, but the seat pole cost me $5. The comfort seat cost me $25. The gold seat post was another $7. And then my favorite cartoon fender cost me $2. And then we have the Origin chain tensioner, which is these black little things at the bottom, cost me $9. Tail light, I'm gonna count this because I actually bought a separate tail light for this. Normally it sits underneath the seat, but I moved it down here. But I'm gonna actually mount two of them right on these two bars right here. Total cost to build a frame and all those parts that I just said was $305. So next thing that's on the list is the steering setup. So we got the chrome forks, which came out beautiful. We got the black headset, which is, you can't see it, but that's the holds the bearings and whatnot. I gotta tighten it up. That's one of the things that keeps coming loose. I'm not sure why. We got the gold stem, which is that black gold stem. We got the handlebars, the aluminum handlebars, which is $25. So I'll give you a better look at that. These handlebars are actually 780 millimeters wide. So they're pretty wide handlebars. The total price for that steering wheel setup was $140. So now we're gonna move down to the wheels. These beautiful wheels. So to build a front wheel, we got the rim, which was $50. The hub was $25. Let me show you the hub, which is a Wheelmaster hub. You can't even see the logo, but Wheelmaster hub. The spokes was $75. The spoke nipples, the gold spoke nipples, was $12. The rim tape, which is inside the rim, which was $7.50. To true the wheels was $17. So the tube itself was $6, which is, like I said, inside the tire. The hookworm tires, these are like my favorite tires. These are pretty wide tires. So here's the specs for anyone wants curious. So they're pretty much 26 by 2.5s. So there's some thick tires. And I normally run them about like 30 PSI for more grip personally. It's too hard. It's just uncomfortable ride because, like, as you see, I have no suspension on this bike whatsoever. So total price to build a front wheel was $233. That's for the front wheel. Now for the back wheel was $231, not including the sprocket on the back. That's just to build a rim and tires, and that's pretty much it. So for the brake setup, right, we got the calipers, which is $30. The front and rear caliper mounts was $18. The 203 millimeter rotors was $50. So it's $14 for the lever. That's that dual brake lever. So when you pull it, it pulls both of your brakes, as you can see. Front one's moving and the back one's moving. So I'm happy that I had that feature. That way, if I feel like I need some more brakes on the front or the rear, I can loosen it or tighten it depending on how I want it to set up. So right now I have it set up where it's like, I think I have about like 60% in the front and then like 30% in the back. So right now how I have the brake set up is I have more braking force in the back and then less braking force in the front. That's just how I like to ride. And then when I'm doing like a little bit more like circle racing or something like that, or cornering, I will put a little bit more in the front and less in the back. That way I can stay kind of planted and like modulate it a little bit better around these corners. Now we're going to get to the total brake setup cost was $122, so $122. So I spent $590 on this motor. So the motor itself was $590. It was $1,009, but I actually got it on a sale. So the 2-stroke motor mounts, which offsets the motor by like 0.25, I believe, or something like that. That's that aluminum motor mounts. That was $125. As you can see, the bike is a little bit dirty. I have the cover off the motor right now too as well. The spark plug was $250. The CDI was, I believe, $15. There's no really good way of hiding the CDI, so I put it right there between the water lines for the radiator. All right, so for this clutch setup, stage 2 clutch, I paid $138 for it. The clutch cable, the cable itself, I actually stripped down and actually used the blue brake line. So that's running all the way up here to my clutch. And the next thing on the list will be the lever. The lever was $10. The clutch cable was $11. The RPM tachometer run hour was $37. Right now it's kind of hot, 66. I just ran the engine, so it starts to flash once it hits over 65, but when it's running it stays about like 50, like 55 to like 60 degrees when I'm running the bike. And which I do have to do a coolant flush, so that should be the next video, because right now I'm just using pure tap water and it's not really good for the motor. The kill switch. So for the kill switch, you can see I just have a piece of the kill switch right here, and I actually stripped it down and just used just the kill switch part, the button. I could have just wired up a button for the kill switch, but I had it laying around and I just decided to kind of destroy it. So for the kill switch was $11, like I said. For the whole entire clutch setup was $207. So now we're on the carburetor. So this is a Mikuni TM24 carburetor. I paid $115 for it. The carburetor jets was $15. And if anybody's curious, I am running 35 slow, and then the main is 170. I got a Uni 2-stage angle filter. I paid $18.86 for it. The thumb throttle, this is all the way up here, this thing. People always ask me, why do I run a thumb throttle? But the reason being is because I have way more control over the bar when I'm gripping it, and I could just press the throttle. I don't have to twist my hand, or while grabbing the brake, I don't have to reach for the throttle sometimes. So for the throttle itself was $12. The intake piping coupler was $5. The fuel shutoff valve, which is this thing over here, the on and off, is $5. The fuel line was $10 if y'all want to count that. I actually had it left over from my other build, so I just threw that in there anyway, that price. $5 for the filter. I had this laying around as well, but typically to buy a brand new one is $5. So for the whole entire carb setup was $185.86. So that's for the whole carb setup. Moving on down to the drivetrain setup. So the bottom bracket is this piece down here. That's what connects to your crank. That was a total of $17.50. The action crank, which is the crank arm on both sides, that piece, $47. 36 tooth chain ring, it was $10. I have the Palmer bike pedals. That was $28 for the black pedals with the spikes, because you know I love my grip. Back here I have a 34 tooth disc brake hub, which I paid $47.90. All right, on the other side I have a 22 tooth single speed freewheel, which is this black thing, and I paid $9.48 for it. So the spring load chain tensioner, it's over here, this thing, I paid $15 for that. The 115 gold motorcycle chain, this is my favorite chain to run on these bikes because they just do not break. I have not broken one, but I paid $20 for that. And then on the other side, the KM C Gold 1-speed chain. Look how beautiful that thing looks, even though it's dirty. But I paid $17 for that. So total drivetrain setup was $221.88. Now we're getting to the cooling system. So the water pump I paid $100 for, which is this pump down here. Paid $100 for that. The radiator, the aluminum radiator, I paid $49 for that. So getting back to what I was saying was that the brass hose 90-degree elbow fitting, which is right here, it is leaking a little bit. I have to find a better way of sealing that. But I think it's sealed, but it is leaking. Also with the water pump too, I noticed owning the bike a couple of days, and that's also leaking a little bit too, but it's not leaking, it's just corroded. So the 5/8 inch hoses, these things I paid $13 for those. The Red Line water wetter was $10. That's the it's like coolant mixed with water, which I have to redo the cooling system, so stay tuned for that in the video. So for the whole entire cooling system was $181. Now moving on to the exhaust. I still have to paint the exhaust. As you can see, I wanted to go with something that tucks underneath the frame and then pokes out. And then you can see the motor, how it's set up with that bend. So in order to achieve this look, the used pipe was, so it's a used KX85 pipe, and I paid $70 for that used on eBay. The U-bend pipe was $11. That was the little piece right there, just to get that bend. The welds are not perfect. It's very thin metal. I understand that, but hey, it is what it is. I don't know where this leak is coming from. I think it's coming from like right here between this seal, maybe. That's what I'm thinking, but I'll fix that later. Labor to weld the pipe was $350. The FMF exhaust pipe spring and O-ring was $12. So those springs right there, and then I used the O-rings for the belt for the water pump. For the steel clamp that's like right in between there, I'm not sure if you can see it, it wraps around the exhaust. That kind of holds it firm, but still gives it a little bit of play. I paid $2 for that. So for the last and final thing, supplies and materials, I paid, for the exhaust setup, I paid $445 in total just for that pipe. And to have that look, hey, gotta pay to play sometimes. Supplies and materials, the gasket O-ring kit for the motor, that way I can seal the exhaust up with the motor, was $15. Bought a 40-piece clamps, $9. That pretty much is the clamps for the fill lines, the clamp for the hose, the clamps for the hoses. Everything needs a clamp, so I just bought a 40-piece. And that cost me $9. In total, this build cost me $3,022.23. That's a lot of money for this bike, just saying. So I didn't expect to spend that amount of money, but I knew it was gonna be high. But once I hit like a certain point where I was like, this bike needs to get done, I don't care what it costs at this point, it just needs to get done. And that's what I did, and I created this beautiful thing. But if anybody is serious about buying this bike, let me know. I'm gonna go ahead and flush out the coolant system, fix that leak right there. And yeah, you already seen all my videos of riding it, and I'm also gonna paint the pipe too as well. So if anybody has $3 grand and y'all wanna buy this bike, let me know, comment below or email me or whatever. Just get in contact with me if you're really serious about buying this bike. But it's been fun building it, but I think it's time to move on to the next project. But if no one hits me up, then I'm pretty much just gonna keep riding the bike because it is beautiful. And I still have this cover, by the way. So that cover, I'm gonna put it back on there. I was realigning the water pump, so that's why I have that cover off. And I was just making sure this belt does not come off again. But all right guys, this is gonna do it for this video. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe down below for more content, and peace.
Perfect.